Hi, this is Dr. Patrick Cohn with Peak Performance Sports. Do you ever wonder why you hit the ball great in practice or practice rounds, but then underperform in competition? Well, in today's Confident Golfer video show, I'll discuss how golf psychology can help you lower your golf scores. For those of you that aren't familiar with my work, a couple of the first publications I wrote in golf psychology were The Mental Game of Golf, A Guide to Peak Performance, and The Mental Art of Putting, Using Your Mind to Putt Your Best, in which I co-authored with Robert Winters. In addition, I've also written Going Low, How to Break Your Individual Golf Scoring Barrier, and Peak Performance Golf, How Good Golfers Become Great Ones. The benefit of working with a golf psychologist or a mental game coach is that you can identify the mental game barriers that prevent you from having full success on the golf course or playing up to your potential on the golf course. The three buzzwords that I talk about are confidence, focus, and composure. If you're not taking advantage of these mental skills on each and every shot of being as confident as you can, focused on the process, and in complete control of your emotions, then it's difficult to play up to your potential and have that consistency from shot to shot or round to round. The number one sign that your mind or your mental game is interfering with your performance is when you look like a star in practice and hit the ball great on the range, but then you underperform on the golf course. Another telltale sign that your mental game is getting in the way is if when you go from a practice round to a competitive round and all of a sudden your confidence vanishes and you start to have a lot of doubt, or you get highly distracted on things that have nothing to do with playing good golf. Well, let me discuss some of the top mental game traps that you may find yourself in. Number one, worry or doubt. Worry or doubt are some of the top saboteurs of your mental game, because if you're worried about what others think, if you're worried about your score at the end of the day, if you're worried about hitting a bad shot, you simply can't perform up to your potential. And doubt, which I'm going to talk about in a later video in this series, is the opposite of confidence. If you're standing up over the shot, wondering or worrying whether you can hit a good shot, then obviously you're most likely not going to hit a good shot. Another mental trap is you focus too much on results, or you focus too much on score, and thus you get anxious, or you tighten up, or you're simply distracted with outcome, and your focus isn't where it needs to be, and that's playing one shot at a time and focusing on execution. So that's a big part of what golf psychology brings to the table, is to teach golfers how to focus more on execution and playing one shot at a time rather than getting wrapped up in results. Here's some other common mental game traps that I find with my students. High expectations. If you feel like you never perform up to your expectations and thus get easily frustrated with yourself, well, it's not a lot of fun to play that way, but your confidence is also going to take a hit. Many of the students that come to me, they're trying to hit perfect shots. They're trying to be too perfect with their pre-shot routine or their approach to the swing, and thus bind themselves up with the old saying, paralysis by overanalysis. Some of my students get tense or worry because they want to impress others. They want to make a good impression. They want others to respect them. We call this social approval. And that's not helpful for your game as well, because you can get distracted with thinking about what others are thinking about your performance. And another one, which I wrote the book on, Going Low, is that athletes or golfers that can't get out of their own way because of their own comfort zone. That's when you're playing really well on the front nine. You've got a career round going, but then the mind starts to get in the way because you start to protect that round, get defensive, and no longer are you playing like you did on the front nine. So those are the top mental game traps that I see when working with my students. And how golf psychology works is it helps you identify what are the mental game traps that you might be engaging with or that are preventing you from being fully successful, and then developing strategies, or what I call mental game strategies, to improve those specific areas of your game that are holding you back. So you really want to ask yourself, do I look like a star in practice and then ultimately underperform on the golf course? Or do I shoot under par in practice rounds or play to my potential in practice rounds and then have a poor round in competition because some of the mental game traps that I discussed? This video is part of the Confident Golfer video series, but if you want more information about golf psychology, I suggest you visit my website at peaksports.com/golf_confidence, and there you can download a free report. In my next Confident Golfer video, I'll discuss what mindsets or mental game mistakes sink your self-confidence in golf. Thanks for watching the Confident Golfer video show today. If you want more information on golf psychology or want to download a free report, The 6 Costly Mistakes Golfers Make with Their Pre-Shot Routines, visit my website at www.peaksports.com/golf_confidence.php. And I'll see you there.